send me a tell on Serenity PS2.
Okay. That PPA though. So just listen to my voice. For now, we're going to go quickly over the first shot multiplier and what it is. So in this infantry class, you know, you have your gun, and that first shot you take is usually the one that has the most recoil. If you want to just take one shot right now, you can, and you'll notice it. Just don't try to recoil compensate at all. Just try to do one shot. It's going to be the biggest one. Now, in bursting, the issue with the first shot multiplier is it can come to affect you, and you need to learn compensation. So try to shoot 3 or so shots, and so, you know, not fully auto, but just tap fire, and you'll notice your recoil goes up the faster you shoot.
Well, where am I going?
You're coming to VR training on the Vanu Sovereignty. If you go to a warp gate terminal in the middle, like where you first spawn, you can come here. So if you would like to stop firing now. So, why would you burst fire then? Why wouldn't you just fully auto and, you know, let it sit there fully auto? Because of a cone of fire. Now, what is a cone of fire? A cone of fire is your weapon spread. So, when you fire all the way, follow me please, follow the star, follow platoon lead star. I'm going to shoot down range at fully auto, alright? I'm gonna wait for a few people to show up, and with this full auto, I want you to go down there and see the bullet decals. So it's just gonna be me shooting, and you guys will go down there and see it. So I'm gonna fully auto now. This isn't without compensation. Go down there and look at the bullets. You're gonna see I even went up and hit the roof. I did not compensate at all. That was fully auto. You can see basically none of the shots hit after the first few. So if you come back to me, back here, I'm going to show you how I would burst fire this now. Now you're going to see a completely, this is going to be completely different from what just happened. So this is going to be how I shoot normally.
User left your channel.
So now go down the range and check the bullets. Now in my recording, you're not going to see the bullets because I don't really have decals showing up, but you can see most of the bullets, if not all of them, hit the body and or the head, with a few going outside, especially at the range we were at. So this is why bursting over automatic is important. Now I'm going to do one more, and it's going to be automatic with recoil compensation. And now you will see the main picture I'm trying to make here. So I'm going to shoot at full auto. I'm recoil compensating. Now go down there and check the bullets one last time. You will see here that the bullets, they went all around the body. They really didn't hit everything, and the burst was a lot more concise. So this is what I'm going to teach you today. How to burst fire efficiently and learn how to compensate for a first shot multiplier. So right now, what I'm going to want everybody to do is go to a weapons terminal and take the grip, any compensators, any laser sights off your weapon now. If you have the Beetlejuice, you can use that, but I want an Orion if you want to use that with no grip. Basically everything with no grip and no compensator. Nothing to help you with recoil. And put a 1x scope on it. You're choosing. You can use the yellow dot. You can use the circle dot. 1x though. And some keynotes in the background is your FOV affects the intended recoil that you see on your screen. So if you're running a much higher FOV, it's going to be much more difficult, or much easier to recoil compensate on your screen. It will look like there's less jitter, but it's going to be much harder to hit heads or bodies or whatever. So what I would recommend, and what most players recommend, is a 65 or so FOV. Now keep in mind this also affects mouse sensitivities, so plan accordingly. You can work on mouse sensitivities over time, but this is not what this class is covering. So you can change your FOV if you want. You can leave it at 175 if you also want to, and not be able to shoot heads, but I would recommend 65 for at least this class. And I'd like you to stop firing and come to the second little shooting range that we have over here. So everybody please, you know, come over here and come to the second range. All right. There, you have a squad invite now. You should be able to join. So,
Someone invite me to squad.
all right. So I'm going to want you all to spread out around these 3 weapon terminal, or, you know, shooting ranges. And I'm just going to want you to single shot and try to hit the chest or the head if you feel comfortable. But just single shot and eventually work your way up to be faster, you know, single shot. So if you want to watch me in the middle, I'm going to show you, you know, a fast single shot. If you know what you're doing, you can go to the sides. But you're going to want to start just single shotting the body if you're feeling comfortable, because accuracy is a lot more important than headshots if you can't hit the head or control your recoil. So just start hitting and shoot faster and faster if you feel as though you can control the recoil. If you don't know how to control recoil and you're new to the game, or you just, you know, you're not used to it, as you pull down on your mouse when you're shooting, you can control recoil and first shot multipliers. This is why I'm having you do the single shot. So try to hit single shots and then eventually go up. I'll give you guys a few. Yes, you can. If you come to VR training on your Vanu character, I will invite you.
I sent you an invite.
Oh, thanks, Serenity.
Stay alert, enemy heavy nearby.
Yeah, I need a invite too. I never got one.
Okay.
What's
So,
your character name?
yeah, you do that real fast.
Tyson Chaos.
Send Serenity VS a message and she'll get you into your squad.
Cool.
Okay. So, everybody just stop firing for a second. Now what I'm going to want you to do is just come to the middle again. I'm going to show you what a burst fire is legitly. So, a burst fire is, it depending on the weapon, it can be 3 to 5 shots in quick succession. Now, the problem with some people is they think burst firing doesn't work, doesn't work because they take too long in between their bursts, and they're usually longer bursts. So if you'd like to just listen and watch the little platoon star right here, I'm going to show you what a burst is that actually works, and you will hear it, so turn your audio up. I'm not going to talk for this. So as you could hear there, it was basically like I was tap firing instead of holding down my mouse. Now, you know, instead of doing this, I'm quickly tapping and getting 3 to 5 shots off at once. Now, if you'd like to stop shooting again, I'll show you what most players do that are learning a burst. They will do a longer burst and then stop. They will try to compensate and they won't be able to. And that is why it is not effective. You want to do quick, rapid bursts that are like tap firing that you can control. Now, if you can't control your weapon, you're going to do the single shotting again, but you're going to try to make it so the first shot multiplier does not exist. You want to make sure you're ADSing for this. ADS. ADS, ADS, ADS. That's why I had you put a 1x scope and using, you know, basically all weapons can be ADS'd. So now, spread out again, and I want you to try to do, all of you, a quick succession of bursts. And try to kill. Try to aim for the upper chest or the head if you feel comfortable. Alright, Lost, I'm watching you right now, bud. You're taking your time with the bursts again. It's okay for learning right now, but in live, what you're going to want to do is just try to control a little bit faster. I'm right beside you if you want to listen in. They're really quick and it's like a full auto.
I'm just gonna say something in up chat because I can't find whoever I'm looking for.
Have extra ammunition here.
Alright, so, if everybody would like to stop shooting and come back to the middle.
I said something in yell.
Take some ammunition.
How did that feel? So, compared to how you normally play, just some opinions. If you already did this, you know, that's fantastic, wonderful. But if you've never bursted before or actually learned, I'd just like to get some input either in TS chat or here in game chat or just voice on TS. But you can come in here. Now what I usually do to be in VR is I'll log on in the morning especially and just sit in VR and try to get 50 or so headshots on these dummies. And then if you follow the star, platoon star, I'll come on over here and I'll take some shots, at these guys. Now, they're standing, they're robots, these are all put here. Bursting goes hand in hand with another thing that is very important in this game when fighting up close or in a 1v1 situation. If you'd like to follow me down here, we're going to get to a much open, landscape, and I'm going to show you what that is against a few of these dummies. So follow me down to platoon waypoint right over here. And you're going to want to watch me specifically. So stand back to where the actual platoon waypoint is. I'm going to stand next to this infiltrator. And I'm going to want you to watch my movements. So not only am I burst firing, right? But what I'm doing is also moving. This is a thing called ADAD, which it actually speaks for itself. If you can quickly tap ADAD on your keyboard while shooting and bursting in ADS or hipfire, that even, you will be much harder to hit simply because you now have to be tracked. So instead of, say, Serenity stands still and I'm shooting her, she would get hit mostly by all my bullets, and now if she ADADs, I have to track her head, and now the smallest mouse movement that is incorrect will now miss shots. You want to do this when burst firing to be the best you can. So right now, I'm just going to want everybody to, find a partner, whatever, find a training dummy, and just try to ADAD and track each other's heads. Now, this can be up close, medium range, or if you want to, long range. Just find someone mutually, like I'm with Serenity, and you just try to ADAD both each other. Try to hit shots as much as you can.
User joined your channel.
You want to do the tapping of the ADAD in rapid succession. You don't want to get locked up in a D movement or an A movement. You want to do it all the time whenever you're shooting.
User joined your channel.
Alrighty. So now everybody's going to line up mutually. So get on platoon star right over here. We're going to get away from the air so you guys can hear me if you decide to, run super surround sound and can't hear me. So follow platoon star yet again. We're going to meet up by this little rock over here.
I've got ammo for you here.
Okay, so right here,
Frag, out!
I'm going to want everybody to line up and just, ADAD in front of me. I want to see how everybody does it and if I can correct anybody. So just, ADAD, maybe take a few shots at me. I'm right here. Yep, just take a few shots. Alright, so most of you seem to have that down. Right? Alright, so, but you guys are now in open cover, and your whole body is exposed. I'm going to want you guys to run over to that rock over there where I'm shooting right now. Go, 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 go. I'm going to show you guys what partial cover is right now. Whatever is around you, especially in open terrain where either your tank just blew up and you're trying to escape from that prowler right behind you guys, or, you just end up getting caught in because you're just dazing around, you want to use partial cover whenever you can. So there's things like rocks, there's trees, whatever. You want to make it so there's little angles to shoot you with, whatever. So if I'm right here, you guys can see my body completely. I'm shining. I have, a shiny weapon, whatever. You all could probably take a shot at me. But if you guys all get behind that rock, not only are your heads are the only things that are exposed for me, while that could be a bad thing, it's also a good thing for you because there's less ways that I can shoot and kill you. I can't shoot your legs, I can't shoot, you know, your body, like this guy in front of the rock, this little trainee dummy, I could just kill him. But it's much harder for me to kill you guys behind. Especially in, say, a server reg environment like Emerald is in, where it's much, you know, you can get chunked if your ping is high. So you want to use partial cover whenever you can. So you see me running right now. If you wish to follow, just stay a little bit back. If I start getting shot from that tree over there, right in front of me, I'd want to dip into this. And right now, my angle is minimized from being shot from the left, as well as from that tree. The only thing that should be exposed is my head. Now, if Serenity runs over to that mountain over there, she can't be shot from this little crevice right here. And now she has an advantage if that person runs out. So combine all of these together, and you got an effective infantry player that can not only burst fire, control his recoil, which you all can improve on, right? You may not be perfect at it within the 20 minutes that we had just talking about it. But now that you know the skills, now that you know what players do and why some people actually kill you more than you can kill them, you can become a great infantry player. So if you'd like to follow me one last time, I'm going to show you guys the value of having a support team. Playing solo in PlanetSide, while you may think you're God's gift to the game, you're going to die more. Having at least 2 to 3 more people in your squad will not only give you protection from, say, you know, sides, but you can you'll be worry-free about your surroundings. Now, obviously, you need to trust these players. They cannot be, you know, random people. But I'm going to trust all of you right now. We're going to meet back up here. Say I take, I want 3 people and only 3 people to come to me. That means Serenity, that means Vonik, and that means one other. So X, you're going to stay over here. So, Serenity, if you'd like to come over. Alright, so these 3 people are who I trust, alright? Instead of me having to worry about every corner that I am passing, every person that may show up from behind me, there should be someone covering your ass, alright? This is part of positioning as well. So I'm over here, covered by this. Serenity would be saying over there, covering my flank. X could be over here, you know, being my hand. And Vonik could be on the roof up here, covering from the top. Having those positions will be key in a fight. Rather than me solo without X, Serenity, or Vonik, now I can be flanked from the top, the back, as well as, you know, maybe a Max comes up and I can't kill him. Do not play this game lone wolf unless you feel really confident in your abilities. You're not complacent, but you feel as though you can kill on a dime. And if you don't feel as though, trust the people around you. Maybe get some friends on and, you know, learn some small squad stuff where you can cover your flanks, because that will get you it.
Aware of the entrances and visibility around you too, in the buildings, knowing the buildings that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Which we're gonna do right now. So there is. Let's go to a warp gate real fast. I believe there should be training in specific warp gates. I forget which one it is. It should be in all of them.
Yeah, it's on most of them except for Coltier.
Okay, we're gonna go to Hassan. Everybody's gonna warp to Hassan. And we're gonna stay in the warp gate and you're gonna follow me. I'm gonna show you guys some of the building types. And it's gonna be brief because I don't really want to hold you guys for that long. It can get really in depth. But we'll go over building designs and what I mean by having a group of people with you. So if you want to grab a vehicle, you can. But we are going to go to platoon waypoint.
User left your channel.
So you're going to see a bunch of building designs. Very useful. If you ever want to come back here and just look at buildings, try to exploit them, they are pretty nice to go to. But come to the star on the map. See all of you guys flocking. That's hilarious. If you want to get that Sunday up, you can. Oh shit! What just happened? Alright, give me a second. I think that guy hit me with the flash and I'm underneath. Alright. That works. Okay. So these buildings, let's go into this L-shaped one. This thing is literally called the L. Now, for positioning in here, if you have two or three friends, you know, you got a badass group of people, you want to stay within this square. So if you'd like to come where the star is, you see the grates on the ground, right? This little square will probably be the safest area. You have these things that can cover you, these little, you know, small pillars. You have these things, but basically if you stand anywhere outside of these, if any infiltrator gets a good EMP thrown in here, if, you know, a max catches you, if, you know, you get conked, basically this square is the safest place because you have the smallest chance of getting shot, and if there's pressure on a building, you can set up accordingly. But L's are usually the worst places for points. They can get a little toasty, especially with a lot of people in them. So the next place we're gonna go into is this little thing. Very fun. These are you'll hear things from people. I don't really know what this building is called. It's just you guys know.
We've called it the power building.
Yeah, powerhouse. There's a lot of different names. There's a lot of different names. But you'll see these in biolabs where the gens are. You'll see these on. There's a lot of good ones on Hassan, but these are very generic bases. These fat stairs are literally called fat. They can be called long.
We call them big.
Big. Basically any diction of that language. And then over here you have skinny, short, or you know, small stairs. You always want to be on this second floor if you can. The first floor is very dangerous to be on because you have usually all these doors open. If you're about that life, that is door 1, that is door 2, that is door 3. All right, these are your key hot points when you're holding a base, and you usually want to be up here where Star is. Because where Star is right now, you can cover doors 2 and 3 with ease. And if you have, say, Serenity, who's in my squad, if there's a block here, she can cover 1. So Fat is covered, all right? And if you got a squad with you, these back doors on the second floor, if you'd like to come over here, these are called dubs. They can be called, you know, double doors, dubs left, dubs right. I call them dubs just because it's a very simple call out that you can hear from platoon leaders. And these can be also hot points. If a point is right here, like say TI alloys, these doors can be a pain, especially when attacking. So to cover these doors, you can either, you know, stand over here, you can get a turret set up, but these doors can be very hot and they're very dynamic defenses. Usually I like to stand by this second, you know, little door over here to cover both. And then finally you got skinny or short, where mostly maxes, turrets, NG turrets, they're set up here. Very hard to infiltrate from this door, so stay up there. You'll see me pop in like right here, and you'll be able to shoot. And it's very difficult for me to even get a shot on your head, but you guys basically have clear shot of my body. I would never really recommend infiltrating from here unless you got, like, I hate to say it, like a few maxes pushing in, but sometimes you need to do what you need to do. I'd always recommend pushing in from, if you like to follow me, doors, this door right here, if there is not a spawn point on the other side, or if there is one of these things to help you, or this building, this point. And I never recommend just running in and like YOLOing and hoping no one's around the corner. You want to play planet side slow. So if you come over and watch me, I'm the star, I'm shooting. I'm going to want you to watch me specifically in my movements when I enter this building. Because I'm not going to be just suiciding in like this and getting shot from here or here, right? What I'm going to do is just simply look over here, boom. Now I'm cut. Now my blind side, I'm not going to get shot from here. I can shoot whatever's over here. Go around, check, boom. All right? And then you get the shot at the top too. You never want to run in blind, because when you run in blind, you're most likely going to die. And it's pretty reckless positioning as well. So say Serenity is going to do the same exact thing. She's going to run in blind. I'm going to be standing right here. You guys get set up around the building, right? So Serenity, stand outside. and you know, just set up where you would normally in, say, a defense like
Dark
this.
Man, we need help at NS material.
Oh god, command chat. Okay, so Serenity run in, just recklessly as hell. Look at that, she's already dead. Obviously from this is like overpop to hell. But if she plays it safe, right, she checks her corners, she does something like that, then she checks my corner. So she throws nades, you know, she concusses you. It can be much safer. She's killed me, boom, I'm standing over here, her flanks are covered, and she's most likely going to take a few of you out as well. That's what you want to do when you enter a building, regardless of what type it is. Never suicide or you'll end up dead.
Don't ever expose your whole body to those stairs without knowing what's there.
Alright. You want to limit the amount of angles you're shot from, whenever. So follow the star. We're going to go to one of the last buildings. Double stack. Pretty fun. And then we will open it up to questions. And if you guys wish to continue, you know, we could go in live, kick some ass for a little bit. I'm open to do whatever. But, so this is the double stack. This is notorious for being one of the best things to point hold. So if you'd like to enter, look around for a little bit. The bottom floor is usually the worst place to be in a point hold. If the point is down here, you still want to be on the second floor. But let's head to the second floor where most of the fun stuff happens. So you're gonna see most outfits doing point holds up here, and you're gonna be like, why the hell can I not infiltrate? The reason why is not only are the callouts good, but these are these stairs, both the stairs over there and the stairs over here, are the only real ways to infiltrate unless you're a light assault that can go from the roof or there's a gal drop above you. So these stairs are gonna be covered by, say, a Max, an engineer. They're gonna be having EMPs, mines, concussion nades ready to go. The point is usually right where I'm standing right now, or it's over here. And let's get some vocabulary out of the way. This part that I'm standing in right now with the balcony, I usually call it open. It makes sense. You know, I don't know what other people call it, but open works. People usually understand it when they look at the map. But when you have the balcony, you can say, hey, someone's in balcony, or you can say open has some issues, all right? Over here is closed. You don't have a balcony. You don't have any other real infiltration points besides the windows, the upstairs, and the stairs itself. Closed is the easiest to defend compared to open because you have 3 entrance points instead of 2. All right? Now, we're going to do another one of those reckless things. I want everybody to get set up on the second floor, and you're going to, on the second floor, open to test your vocabulary. And I'm going to go down here, and me and Serenity are going to infiltrate. She's going to infiltrate from open, where everybody is, and I'm going to come in from closed. All right, so go. As you can see, if you guys are all in open, you guys are going to most likely kill Serenity, but I'm going to come in from the side and, you know, headshot a few of you before you kill me. So now I want you guys to set up where you think you should be in closed and open, and me and Serenity are going to do the same exact thing. And this is why you're going to see why these buildings are so powerful to hold and key in places like Briggs Laboratory and, you know, other bases with these hot zones. So go. Look at that. I'm already dead. Serenity's already dead. And if you have a max squad coming up too, you'll most likely have 1 to 2 maxes, and then you have your backup. There's a lot of people in here, but most of the time, point holds have just a few less. And these are the amounts of people that are in there. If you see guys like Joke, the guys that do point holds like all the time, they are a good example to watch if you want to. They may not be the best of players. We're all not good players, really, you know. But they got positioning down. I've played with them. They're pretty cool to watch. If you see guys up there that are also streaming, like AC when they're doing a point hold, DA when they're doing a point hold, you'll see these types of things. You'll hear clear comms, tight comms, whatever that. You should try to replicate that whenever you can.
It's important to always keep moving, too. Never stand still, because that makes you an easy target.
Mm-hmm. And always check your corners.
When you pick a position, like, you still want to keep moving. Like,
Yep.
something that we do on this building a lot is, like, if you go on this side really quick.
Vonic.
On the side that I'm at, if you look at the, I shoot at the gun.
I don't know where you are. Okay.
Like, for example, if Serenity decides that she wants to hold these sets of stairs.
Alpha Squad lead, yep. Go to Alpha Squad lead.
She basically will kind of hang around here and what'll also be happening is that there'll be someone in our squad that'll be rotating between specific spots around the building. So, for example, like what we do in that situation is no matter if there's only one person watching a set of stairs, there's always going to be a second person that's going to be covering Serenity, even when she needs to reload or something like that. So, like for example, if she's covering this set of stairs and she needs to reload, I'm already moving on my way over towards her position. So when she goes to reload, I'm going to immediately butt in, and when I need to reload, she's going to take my position, and we're going to kind of rotate like that.
These stairs are also really good because if you can hold these two doors, and if you move up and down on the stairs, it makes you a more difficult target to hit when people are coming in the door, especially the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to kind of like not go like say this far down the stairs, because if someone gets the jump on you, you're not going to have a lot of time.
You guys can see that from the bottom.
Like you don't want to kind of like go this. You don't want to go all the way down to where I'm at. If you're holding this set of stairs, you kind of want to stay up here.
Use that wall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, typically the people that are like let's say that they're on this kind of like this crosswalk area between the southeast side and the northwest side. Like this area is typically like not watched all too often, depending upon how many people you have in the building, because like, if you're set up right, the people on the other set of stairs should be covering that area as well. Like what I mean is like what I'm doing on these set of stairs, there's another pair of people that are just like me and Serenity covering the other stairs, so no one can get into this area. No one should be in this area when there's the right amount of people that are watching the right doors. Does that make sense?
So you still have the ability to fall back to the second floor, but you're also covering the first.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And you always want to apply the concepts that we went over earlier. AD all the time. Regardless if you're waiting for someone to come through a door, you want to get in the practice, and you don't need to ADS. ADS makes your AD slower, and if you guys want to come outside, follow me. That was one of the last buildings we're going to go over. Those are the key ones. But come out to the platoon star. And I'm going to show you an example, so stand, right over there. I'm going to show you an example of an ADS, AD versus just a normal hip fire. So watch this.
Disconnected from your channel.
When you're watching a door, it is much harder to hit something like this when you're idle than this. And then when you're ADing, you can see that is much slower, but it is still more difficult to shoot than a standing still target. So whenever you're idle, you're not in active combat, you should always just get into the practice and muscle memory, because mostly everything is memory, knowledge, or just practice. You just want to get into the habit of ADing like this. You're much faster. It's much harder to shoot you. And a lot of people, if you can go much faster, it's a lot harder to shoot the head. And then if you do what Serenity's doing, just doing circles, whatever you can, just try to always be moving. Yes. Unless you're running 1000 FOV, you're not going to see everything beside you. That's why you want to minimize any angle shot. So instead of standing right here, I'm going to stand over here, because I'm not going to get shot from the left now. Alright? So now I'm covered over here. I only have to worry about this side, what's in front of me, rather than standing right here. Then Serenity could shoot me, then say Vonic to the right of me, and then all of you guys just happen to be here. Alright? Does anybody have any questions? Now, we're not like super famous people. We're normal people. If you ever see any of us on, this means Serenity, this means Vonic, any guys with tags that you would recognize, these tags can come in handy if you ever want to ask anybody, because they're pretty knowledgeable on the game, and they want to help you. They want to help players improve. You can always hop on. Serenity streams, I stream. There's a lot of the DA, AC guys that stream. Ask whoever, whenever, they will be willing to help you if you're willing to improve and take their advice. Because if you're one of those old dogs can't learn new tricks, it's very difficult to teach a player. But if you're willing to give up what you know now and try to apply techniques from players that have been either practicing and playing for years, or have been going just very, very hard at their improvement, you will also improve. It is very important to not only use these techniques that we have taught you today, but it is also very important to keep a very cool mind when playing. You do not get tilted, and what tilted means is, you get very, you're raging. You never want to have that happen. If that ever happens, you might want to quit, because if you watch a stream where I am tilted, you will see that I am overextending, which is doing a run-in YOLO into a building and dying rather than checking my corners. You will see me not shooting the head because I am just, I'm pissed off. And you'll just see a lot of things that wouldn't be happening if I wasn't tilted. Now, does anybody have any questions? Don't be afraid to speak. I am recording this on my OBS, and it will be uploaded for you guys to watch as well. But does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns on anything that was taught today? You can ask about anything if it isn't related to anything right now. Then you can also ask it.
When's a good time to use crouching?
Crouch. Is that what you asked?
Yep.
Alright, so crouching can be a very bad habit you can get into. Stand over there, everybody. You'll see my body is much longer right now, right? How easy is it to shoot my head now? It's a much bigger target, right? Rather than this. I'm also going to answer those questions in the tells that you guys sent. Don't worry. Whenever you crouch, so I'm going to do my ADAD thing. And I'm going to do a crouch in it as well. You guys may think it's harder to shoot me when I'm doing the crouch and the AD, but look at my ADAD speed when I'm crouched. Rather than this. Crouching is a very difficult thing to break out of if you'd like to stop shooting. Crouching can be useful in a staircase where you can't see their heads, where you can crouch and you can. But personal preference, man, if I see someone crouched, it's an easy headshot. Alright?
Well, generally, like, the average player is not going to be able to aim at the head very well. Generally, the average player is going to get body shots a lot. And when you crouch, you put your head where your body was. So you're going to crouch into their headshots. And you're going to die faster.
That was actually sort of perfect. Right there. That I caught.
User
But
disconnected
you
from
don't
your
want to do
channel.
that. I want to do another thing in VR with cone of fire and recoil. Alright. Oh, okay. How do you do that roof wall scaling thing? So, on Indar, you will see things. You will see people doing some insane stuff, right? I'm going to see if there's any walls around here that Serenity and or I can... Right there, what Serenity just did. I don't even think I can do it. I don't think my frame rate permits.
Oh, I can't do it now.
Let me see if I can do it.
There we go. Oh, shut up.
But, here's the
You gotta
thing.
look up to once you jump on there, and then once you're on, spam jump and look down. You have to have a good frame rate to be able to do it.
Yeah, so...
This is a hard spot. Sometimes the building is sunk in a little bit, and it's easier to do. You can wall jump on this part of this balcony, or I think it's the second middle here, and the third. Right
Oh, I
there.
just did it on the side. Okay,
Yeah,
so...
I'm basically this
But
middle
the-
graded.
Yeah, this metal grating.
Multiple.
But I think the first one you can't do it. Something like that.
But
But this building is hard
User
because it's not
disconnected from
sunk
your
in at all.
channel.
yeah, but, I'll show you guys on the side if you guys want to watch. Basically, you run at the wall just like they said, and you just start spamming your space. Now, you need to be getting more than 60 frames, so this means like 67 frames. If you get 120 frames, it is much easier to do. It is very much frame permitting. You can't do it in 30 FPS. I've tried it. Can't do it anything. You can't. I don't even think you can do it at 50. But there's walls on Indar, and you can try them all. With this one, for instance, I didn't even think I could do it. You just jump, and you can get over walls, and that's how you do it. So you spam space. You can hear it.
You'll
And-
notice that if you fail, like you spam space and you kind of fail, you fall to the ground, you don't move very fast anymore. You gotta move around a little bit so you back up to normal speed before you try again.
You can sprinting actually gets it back faster
Yep.
too. And if you watched a guy by the name of like Harvester do it in a max the other day, it took him like 5 minutes, but he had to regain his speed every time in a max suit, which takes much longer to do these types of jumps. But if you can,
Another one over here.
if you can do this, you can basically get over terrain like in Indar and in Esamir. Amrish doesn't have those types of walls. And Hassan doesn't either. It's like they're sort of fixed. And Koltir doesn't have them at all. They're new assets. So, Indar and Amrish and Esamir, you should be able to do them. And it does help you.
Once you do it enough, like, you'll kind of know.
Yeah,
what
you'll
places
be able
to
to recognize this building sucks for it, but
Any other questions? Just send a tell to me, Batty Paz, or say it in here. Otherwise, you know, we'll be done here, but I'd like to hear a few more questions because I know this is new material for some people.
I kind of want to touch a little bit more on Cone of Fire and Recoil and
Oh,
all that
yeah.
in VR.
Right now?
I mean, after the Q&A.
Okay. When do you
Not
not
about it.
right-click the mouse? Can you go more in depth, X?
when do you not ADS?
When do you... Oh! When do you not right-click? Okay, I get you now. When do you not ADS? Thanks, Serenity. I'm stupid. When you are using... Vonik can actually go into this, so I'm assuming he's going to want us to follow him back to the warp gate as well, because he wants to do something. But Vonik is the Alpha Squad lead if you'd like to follow his little star back to warp gate. But he can go into this, because he does use those types of weapons.
The
So
wall
again,
jump you can do on a lot of mountains too.
With the Cone of Fire thing or the when to not ADS?
When to not ADS, and we can do your Cone of Fire thing
It
at the
really
warp gate.
depends on the gun that you have. Like, if your gun is equipped with the compensator, like, that whole idea gets kind of thrown out the window. Like, the downside with the compensator, I don't know if you guys know this, but, like, you actually have shitty hipfire accuracy. It's better if I explain this in VR just because you have access to all the attachments and whatnot.
Yeah, so let's go everybody go back to VR right
Just
now.
redeploy onto the warp gate and go back to VR.
We're hoofing it. We're footzigging here.
It's all right. See, we are
You do what you
troopers.
think is right.
And if you miss any of this, guys, I did record it. Like I said, it will be uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you guys can watch it. It's probably gonna take like 100 hours. And our Amya, to answer your question on video settings, I did make a performance video that goes in depth on my channel Sazzypaz on YouTube. If you'd like to watch that.
Oh shit! I think my game crashed.
Did it do like a simple freeze?
Yeah.
It will come back.
Oh, okay. We're good.
Yeah, that's been happening to me. It wasn't my overclock. Okay, so Vonik, you can take it.
Okay, so when to hipfire, when to ADS. Well, the thing is, like, once you're at a certain range, like, say for instance, if I look at this infiltrator, and I've got like an LMG that does not have a compensator, like, I would say like you kind of have to eyeball it. It's something you kind of have to get used to, and something you kind of have to like trial and error over time. Like, for instance, are you more comfortable like ADSing at this range, or are you more comfortable hip firing at this range? Like, it really depends on how far they are and how far you are, and like, there's basically a lot going on. Like, how best to put this?
I ADS almost all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just me.
Like, the thing is, like, if they're right up in your face,
Yeah, you have to hit fire.
you have to hip fire.
Otherwise,
Like,
you won't hit them.
yeah, not only that, but you're a sitting target in their
Yeah.
eyes. Like, let's say for instance, if I'm looking at this engineer right here, like at this range, you would most definitely be hip firing. Basically, like, I would say as a kind of rough, like, I don't know, guesstimate on when to hip fire would be like, okay, if I'm standing still, my crosshair, like when you're hip firing, you see your crosshair, right? Like,
Error.
you want to kind of like start hip firing when it's about as wide as the actual character that you're shooting at, if that makes sense. So if like if I'm looking at this engineer, or not, sorry, not engineer, this heavy assault, I would probably hip fire at this range, because if I look at my crosshair when I'm seeing right in front of this guy, it's about as big as wide as his chest or his shoulders. So like maybe that's like a range that I would probably hip fire at. When you're going up against like infiltrators and like I guess like quote unquote smaller classes, like they're gonna hip fire when you try to ADS at that range.
Please stop
So
firing.
I would not ADS at that range. But again, like if they're not aware of you, you're gonna want to ADS. That's another thing. Like if they're shooting at you, you want to ADS, or if they get the jump on it, if they surprise you, you want to hip fire.
Because you get, well, If they don't know you're there, you want to ADS because
you drop them faster, basically.
yes.
It's much harder to shoot a target with ADS that is closer to you because then you have to do a bunch of twitch movements.
Yeah, the further they are, the slower they appear to move on your screen. It's like, that's pretty much it. Like, you can choose which range to hit fire at. There is a range where you should never hit fire at. But in terms of like once you kind of reach that threshold of like, should I hit fire, should I not hit fire? That's kind of like up to you. And also on your setup as well. Like that's another thing you kind of want to talk about in terms of like attachments. If you guys could equip the NS15M really quick. Everyone needs to equip that really quick. So
What
I want
kind
you.
of weapon is that?
It's
An
an
LMG.
for heavy assault. It should be brown, and it should be called NS15M2. Okay, so there's a couple of things that can influence the size of your cone of fire before you even start shooting, and that is your attachment configuration. The two attachments that affect your cone of fire size when you're hip firing, and only when you're hip firing, are the laser sight and the compensator. One rule for these two attachments is that you should never put them together. They basically cancel each other out. You don't want to do that in any kind of attachment configuration, no matter how beneficial you might think it is. Never put them in the same configuration. So in terms of statistics, what do they do to you? Well, the compensator, in terms of just your hip fire, it will actually increase the size of your cone of fire when you're hip firing. So if you want, go up to a terminal, and before you actually, equip it, you can look at the size of your cone of fire when you're just like not moving and looking around. You see how big that is, right? So if you quickly attach a compensator, you can actually see it grow when you equip it. You can see how big it is. I'm not talking about when you actually shoot, but like when you actually equip it, you can immediately see the downsides of it.
Yeah,
crosshair
I did
thing.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the compensator, what it'll do is it'll increase the cone of fire size when you hit fire by, I think, either 20 or 25%. On the good side is that, when you're ADSing, or even when you're hip firing, you actually have less vertical recoil. But obviously when you're hip firing, that doesn't really matter. It really affects your ADS performance. So if you prefer ADSing and you are okay with sacrificing a bit of hip fire on your gun, you want to use the compensator. Now, if you're okay with, actually compensating for your gun, it's not something that you really need, but it's there if you want it. If you plan on shooting people at a super far range, the compensator can help, although that's really up to you and your playstyle. But
You get better accuracy if you don't shoot people far away.
Yeah.
If you're trying to go for stats.
Yeah. Okay, so the other attachment that affects your hip fire size is the laser sight, and you can find this on every single gun in the game, I think, or most of the guns in the game, except for like sniper rifles, I think.
And Araxiums.
And Araxiums, right. But that'll actually decrease your cone of fire size by an average of like 33%. And you can actually see the effects immediately. Like if you unequip the compensator and equip the laser sight, you can actually see how much smaller your cone of fire is when you're hip firing. But just bear in mind that like this only applies to hip fire and nothing else. This does not improve your ADS like cone of fire. It doesn't do anything anywhere else. It's just hip firing. So if you intend on hip firing a lot with a gun, let's say like an SMG, you want to put a laser sight on it just because like on that type of weapon, you see a lot of the benefits.
Because SMG you want to use close quarters mostly, and you're going to be hip firing.
Yep, exactly. Something else I wanted to touch on was a little bit more on recoil. So a couple things happen when you actually like fire a gun and burst and stuff like that. If you equip...
If you'd like to stop firing and listen to Vonik at the middle terminal, please. Come over to the middle terminal.
Something that you may notice, you should notice rather, but you might not right now, is the direction in which your gun will recoil. So if you look at the NS15M, I want you to like look downrange and like align your little red dot sight to any of like the kind of grid intersection points on the firing range. Do you guys know what I mean by that? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yeah.
I do, like the vertical line.
Yeah. You want to align your your dot with a vertical line and a horizontal line and put it like in a corner. Hold the trigger down and look at the direction at which your recoil will go. You'll notice that it goes up and to the left.
This is actually really good. Thanks, Phonic. I didn't know that.
If you notice, if you equip the pulsar LSW, for instance, right, go up to the terminal and equip a pulsar.
Another
LSW.
LMG.
Yeah, it's another LMG. And repeat the same process, and you'll notice something different. The gun will pull up and to the right. So there are three like types of recoil patterns. This is what I call a recoil pattern. It's the direction at which the gun will kick in. They either go in random directions and up. They'll either go up and to the right or up and to the left. You'll usually, if you're looking at Empire-specific weapons, you'll usually see them go either up and to the right or up into the center.
Chazzy, that's so loud.
Yeah, I can't hear anything. You don't really have to worry about the up and left with your guns unless you're using an NS type weapon, which almost all of them pull up and to the left. Another thing that I kind of wanted to show you guys is if you equip the let's see.
All right, let's not shoot lashers, please. I just wanted to see the recoil pattern.
Go up to the terminal and equip engineer with an NS11C on the side of your choice.
Great.
Use like engineer or light assault or anyone that can equip a carbine. Like this effect is a lot more pronounced on these guns. But equip engineer an NS11C with, I don't know, like a 1x reflex sight. Something I want. Wait, stop shooting before you start shooting.
Sorry.
Yep.
Something that's gonna happen
User left your
whenever you
channel.
use any of these guns, in addition to the first shot recoil, is something that's called recoil settle. Now, what is that? Okay, so without compensating, I want you to, align your crosshair, again, to align your crosshair to like the grid. Now, I want you to fire full auto and then stop shooting, and then watch what happens to the position of your crosshair. Like fire one burst, like one long burst, and then stop shooting, and you'll notice that your crosshair will go back to where you started. You guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is something that you kind of have to be aware of when you're using your guns. This applies to every single gun in the game. The longer you fire, the longer your burst, the more your mouse or the more your gun will want to kind of settle on that point again. Okay? So let's say, for instance, if you're compensating on a target and you've got your crosshair aligned on him, when you stop shooting, your gun will continue moving even though you're already centered on where it is that you want to fire at. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So something that you're going to have to kind of learn how to do when you're firing these guns is you're going to have to actually counteract the recoil that you've compensated. So instead of, when you're pushing this gun pulls up and to the left. So when you're compensating for recoil, you're pulling down and to the right with your mouse. When you stop shooting, you need to move back in the direction of the recoil in order to stay on target. So when you're done pushing down and to the right, when you stop shooting, you're going to move your mouse up and to the left because your gun is going to want to settle back into the point at which it thought it was shooting at. Does that make sense?
It's pretty advanced, so don't feel bad if it's not intuitive.
Yeah.
That's actually something I did not know, Vonic. That's actually really useful.
I remember when Vonic tried to teach me this when I was new, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, your gun is going to want to basically go to the spot at which it started shooting at.
Oh, this actually applies to longer bursts that I'm seeing. If you're doing shorter bursts, it doesn't seem to affect that, which I'm showing on the recording right now. But if you do a longer burst, you have to reset it because I'll do a longer burst without compensating and we'll do that little kick up.
So yeah, you're gonna have to move your mouse back up the longer your burst is. You should still be doing this anyway, but just remember that like there's a kind of an axis that you want to move your mouse along. So down and to the right, up and to the left. If the gun pulls up and to the right, you want to pull up and to the right, and down and to the left. Okay? So again, the longer your burst is, the more the gun is going to move down by itself. So you want to counteract that as you're shooting. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, don't fire your gun when you're flying as lights out.
Yeah.
Generally.
Never. Like, unless you're right up in his face. Never want to do that.
Because your cone of fire is huge when
Yeah.
you're moving.
Thanks again, Vonic.
Any questions? So again, just to recap, you have your first shot recoil, the direction of your recoil, and then the recoil settle.
Alrighty.
Okay. Someone asked about Pulse RC with the 4x or 6x. You never want to use more than a 4x on any automatic weapon ever. Never use the 6x scope. You want to go 4 and below. Although honestly, I wouldn't even recommend 4.
1 or 2.
1 or 2. If you've got a weird kind of playstyle thing going, maybe a 3.4. But typically, you never want to use more than like a 4 or a 3.4. Oh, another thing is that if you're like, let's say for instance, if you're trying to like tweak your sensitivities, there are a couple of settings in your options that control how sensitive your mouse movement is on each of these types of scopes. If you open up your options and you go to settings on the bottom right, the general tab should be already open. There are a couple of sensitivities that you want to play with. You need to do this for your own setup. There's not one perfect kind of way to do it. It's not going to be like one sensitivity setting is right over all of the others. Because again, like everyone has different mice, they all have different DPI, whatever. The things you want to keep in mind
User
when you're
joined
kind of
your
tweaking
channel.
your numbers. Your mouse sensitivity, the one that's like the first option on the top right, that affects your hip
User
fire,
joined your
how
channel.
quickly your character moves around. Like if you want, you can play around with that number. You
User
make it
joined your
lower, your
channel.
character turns lower. But this only affects hip fire, all right? It only affects hip fire and nothing else. The next one you want to look at is aimed mouse sensitivity, and that should be like the 5th option down. Your aimed mouse sensitivity will affect scopes that are iron sight, 1x, and 2x. Okay? It will not affect your hip fire. It will not affect your 3.4, 4x, or anything above that. It only affects those 3 options. The next one you want to look at is scoped mouse sensitivity. And that one affects scopes 3.4 and above. So your sniper rifles, your battle rifles, your fucking whatever
joined your
whatever
channel.
weapon you use that has a 3.4 sight will be affected by that number. So you can have, like, let's say for instance, like you only use 1x and 2x, and you also happen to use sniper rifles, and you always use a 7x or something like that. You can change your sensitivities for your sniper rifles by just affecting that number.
User joined your channel.
Okay, I got a question. If I'm firing from the hip and I go to ADS, does the cone of fire set to ADS or is it stuck on hip fire? It inherits. Okay, this is kind of like a little tricky. They've kind of changed these numbers a little bit. The question was, when you're hip firing and then you decide to go ADS and you keep the trigger held down.
Don't do
This is-
that.
this one's- yeah, you don't want to kind of do that, ever. You want to either stop shooting, or yeah, just you want to stop shooting before you even do that.
Reset your cone of fire.
Yeah, exactly. You want to reset your cone of fire, but
'Cause-
like this is a little technical, and I don't expect you guys to like really take much from this, but like your hip fire and your ADS cone of fire are both calculated separately at varying amounts. So if you were to fire 6 shots and you ADS and you didn't let go of the trigger, the size of your cone of fire would be the size of your cone of fire if you were ADS. It's kind of hard to explain because there's no real way of showing you how big your cone of fire is when you're ADS. But honestly, like, I can give you an explanation, but it's not really going to matter because you shouldn't be worrying about that anyway. You shouldn't be doing that ever. Keep firing with the sniper rifle, follow mouse sensitivity or scope. Okay, for aimed, scoped, and aimed and scoped sensitivities, it only affects ADS. When you're not ADS, that's mouse sensitivity always. Okay. It doesn't mean like if you just equip the scope on your gun, you're automatically affected. No, it only means when you're ADS.
When you're holding right click.
Right click, that sensitivity is taken into effect.
All right, if you'd like to
Let
stop
go,
firing.
You're back to regular mouse sensitivity.
Stop firing, please. If we're when we're talking, it's very difficult to hear. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? No?
All right. Well, Vonic, Serenity, thank you guys for showing up and helping out. For the rest of you guys, I really appreciate all of you coming out. All right. You know, it's pretty difficult to learn new things if you're already experienced and you think you're good. And it's also difficult to learn new things if you're a new player. But the fact that you all showed up and you're all willing to improve are things that us players that have a lot of knowledge wish to share with you and actually like to do. And again, this applies to whenever you have any questions. You can find us streaming. Anybody with like a DAAC tag, you know, you can always ask them a question. They're willing to help you out. They want to help people improve. And sometimes improvement can be rough, all right? Sometimes you'll be told, you know, you're a shitter. We're all shitters, man, all right? It's just learn discipline, learn how to control, ask questions, and be willing to learn new things. Watch this video over when it is uploaded. If you have any questions, I'll timestamp it so you can listen to Vonic's speech, so you can listen to the building layouts, to what I said, everything. You'll have the knowledge and you'll have the video to watch. I really appreciate you guys all coming out. It's a pretty good amount of people. And if anybody does not have any lasting questions right now, so put them in right now. You will be free to go. Just I'm gonna give 20 seconds, and if you have a question, please post it. Otherwise, thanks again for showing up. Thanks again for the help.
User joined your channel.
All right, we good? All right. Thank you guys for showing up, man. This will be posted on YouTube on youtube.com/sazzypaz or /user/sazzypaz, whatever it is. And you'll be able to watch it. If you have any questions on performance, you can also find a 2016 performance video where I go fully in depth on the settings and the INI settings that you should be looking at /watching. And yeah, you guys are free to go. Thanks again.